Okay, good morning, class, and welcome to grade 9 math. Today we're going to start off just reviewing what we worked on yesterday. We've been working with rational numbers, and we've been plotting them on a number line. These rational numbers are either expressed as a decimal fraction, like 1.7, so 1 is a decimal fraction, or it could be a improper fraction, 15 over 6. First thing we do is I want you to copy in your notes is the number line. We already have one made from 0 going positive 1, 2, 3 and negative 1, 2, 3. So what we need to do is to copy this down into your notes, and I want you to plot these numbers on the number line. And then we're going to order them from greatest to least. So this to start you off, minus 1.7. We know it's going to be between minus 1 and minus 2. This is a half, that'd be 1.5. So we're going to go up 1.7 like this. Just draw a little line and put the number there and do the rest for the next 4 or 5. So we're just going to pause it, wait for you to do that, and then we'll review it. All right, so once we've got them plotted, if we put minus 1 and 1/5, that'd be minus 1.2. We're probably going to have it right about here. 0.2, this is positive, that's 2/10. We're probably going to put that right around here. We have 15 over 6. 15 divided by 6 is going to be, if you put it in a calculator, it is 2.2 and 3 over 6. And if we reduce 2 and 3 over 6, 3 over 6 can be 2 and 1/2. Divide both by 3, which means we have 2 and 1/2. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 2 and 1/2. 2 and 1/2 is right here. So we can put in 15 over 6. And then the last one is minus 4 over 9. We can put that in our calculator. Minus 4 divided by 9. Let's just look at our calculator together. On your computer, take out your calculator. We have 4 divided by 9 equals minus 44444. So we're going to put that. It is 4/10. So there's 0 minus 1. That's almost a half. So it would be somewhere just right around there. Not quite a half. And we put the bar over it, meaning it's repeating. So now, which is the biggest? You can see now that 15 over 16 is the biggest, so we have to order from largest to smallest. I'm just going to put it up. We look at the highest number there, 15 over 6. That's the biggest, the greatest. The next one, we come down here, and it is 0.2. We go to the next one. We did this one, we did this one. The next one is 0.44. Remember, we took that from minus 4/9. The next one, as we come down, is minus 1 and 1/5. That is right here. And then the smallest we have here is minus 1.7. So there we have it, ordered from greatest, the biggest, to the smallest, biggest to the smallest. All right, that's what we did yesterday, just a quick review. Now let's look at what we're going to work today. We're going to review how to find a common denominator and we're going to look at changing between an improper fraction and a mixed number. So, how to find a common denominator and how to change between an improper fraction and a mixed number. When we want to find a common denominator, because we need to know them to add and subtract fractions. If we have two fractions, 2/3 and 4/9, the denominator is always the bottom number, the lower number. So what's going to be common between 3 and 9? Well, how do we go from 3 to 9? In order to do that, we have to multiply by 3. So 3 times 3 times 3 is 9. Whatever we do to the bottom part here, we have to do the same to the top. So if we went 3 times 3 to 9, we have to do the same for the top. 2 times 3 is 6. So now we have a common denominator, 6 over 9. So that means if I had to add these two, 2/3, which is now 6 over 9, right? And if I had to add the 4/9, I have a common denominator. So now I can add the two. That would be 10 over 9. And if I had to subtract them, it would be 6 minus 4, which would be 2 over 9. So depending on what you have to do, we need to get a common denominator. The next example, 4 over 7, 3 over 8. What is going to be common between 7 and 8? Sometimes they don't look easy. What we can do is we can multiply. We look at how do we get 7 and 8 common? We'll multiply 7 by 8. And if I multiply 7 by 8, I get 56. So what? Multiply this one here, I get 56. And then I have to multiply the top one by the same number, 4 times 8, and I get 32. So now we know that 4 over 7 is the same as 32 over 56. We look at the next number, 3 over 8. How do we get to 56? Well, we have to multiply by 7. Got to multiply by 7. So we take 3 times 7 is 21. 8 by 7 is 56. So now 3/8 is the same, is equivalent to 21 over 56. Now we have common denominator. We have a common denominator. Just moving on. We want to change a mixed number to an improper fraction. Now remember, when you see the word copy on your lesson, on your assignment, I want you to copy the example that we have right here and copy it into your notes and submit that with your assignment questions. So here we have an example of a mixed number. Mixed number means we have a whole number, 5, and we have a fraction, 3/8. So it's mixed. It's mixed whole number and fraction. So we call that a mixed number. And we want to bring that to an improper fraction. So it's all a fraction. So in order to change this 5 to a fraction, I'm going to multiply it by the denominator there, times 8. 5 times 8. That's 40. And I already have 3 over 8. I already had a 3 over 8. So now the improper fraction is, since we have a common denominator now, is 40 plus 3, 43 over 8. So 5 and 3/8 becomes 43 over 8. Second example, 2 and 4/5. We want to change that 2 to the fifths. So we go 2 times 5 at the top, plus the 4. So 2 times 5, 2 times 5 is going to be 10 plus 4 is 14. And we have a denominator of 5. So 2 4/5 becomes 14 over 5. These two were positive. If we have a negative one, negative 3 1/3, we are going to take 3 times 3, 3 times 3, the whole number times the denominator, 3 times 3, which is 9, and then we add the 1, becomes 10. But remember, there's a negative sign here, so we have to keep the negative sign. So the answer becomes negative 10 over 3. So minus 3 1/3 becomes negative 10 over 3. That's how we change from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Another example, minus 27 over 4. We want to now go from the improper fraction to the mixed number. This is a little easier because we can put this right into our calculator. We just enter negative 27 divided by 4, and that's going to give us 6 3/4. Now your calculator may write it as 6.75, 6.75, because it always writes it in decimals. But remember, when you have things over the past the decimal, that's the same as 75 over 100. And if I divide both by 25, to simplify it, I'll have 3 over 4. So that's how we get minus 6 3/4. Just to show you how it works on the calculator, to make sure you know how to enter it, let's bring up our calculator again. All right, so we wanted it to change. I'm going to clear this first. Okay, minus 27 over 4. Minus 27 over 4. Let's see if I can get this moved over here. So, 27, that's positive. Here's the sign here. We're going to change it from a positive to a negative, so we press this. Now it's negative. Then we go to our dividing sign. Divided by 4 equals minus 6.75. That's what I had here. Remember, I changed the 0.75 to a fraction, so our answer is minus 6 3/4. 27 over 6, same idea, put it in your calculator, 27. This time we're dividing by a positive number, so we don't have to change it. 6 equals, and our answer is 4.5. Now remember, 4.5 is the same as 4 and 5 over 10. One place after the decimal means it's 5 over 10. And if I reduce 5 over 10, divide both by 5, it's going to be 4 1/2. So we can change our decimal back to a fraction. Okay? If you did it long division like this, 6, or I better write it common. 27 divided by 6, you would get 4, and 4 times 6 is 24. And I have 27, so it means I have 3 left over, so that would be 4 and 3 over 6, which is 4 1/2. So there's two ways of doing it. There's this way, or it's using your calculator and then changing your fraction back, your decimal back to a fraction. Okay? Look at this thing up the top, should be there. So, changing this to an improper fraction, I'm going to let you complete that. in your notes, when you get the video lesson, remember, write this down. And this is part of your assignment. You will change -3 and 4/7 to a improper fraction. It's a mixed number right now. And this one here, you want to change it to from an improper fraction to a mixed number. So that's the end of the lesson. For your assignment, you have your task 1 handout that was given to you. Okay, so for today, remember, you copy all the notes from the lesson right here that I just gave you today. Anything that says copy. All the practice questions, the one I just showed you, are going to be done, and I'll mark and correct them. The bell work, the one about the number line, you complete that, hand it in. And here is on handout 1, section 2, you'll have questions A and B, and then these are the additional questions 13, 14, 16, 23, 24, 25. This is the section handout that will be with you, the examples 1 and 2. And there, you go to your next page in your assignment. This is part A, part B for you to complete. Remember, put your date on your work, your name. Go back to your text rubric, make sure you're doing all of the components of it. And put your work on your task set in order. Put them in order and send them in to me, and I'll be able to correct them. Make sure your name's on the assignment too. Okay. And that's it. And I'll put in the questions that you have on those pages. I will submit that with your video lesson. It will be in PDF form. So it'll be part A, part B, plus these questions on page 102. You don't have the textbook, but I'm going to send you these questions 13, 14, 16, 23B, 24C, 25. All right. Talk to you again on Monday or next day.